Here we go again. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and I know the intro was very meh and not fun and upbeat like I normally try to make them, but you may have also noticed that the videos have been coming out a little later each and every single day for the last couple days. And that's because there seems to be no new content, nothing new, nothing to do. Even the new store bundles are reused again. It's the middle of the week, the real week, and I anticipated the new map coming out this Friday, but there's been zero mention of it. So it must be next Friday. Private matches are rumored to be out next week as well, but there's something we need to talk about. It may be too late, and I've made countless videos like this already, and it sucks. It feels like beating a dead horse at this point, but new things keep coming up and I keep seeing them, and it makes me think that this game is ultimately a goner. Last night I was trying to get on Clubhouse so I could test something out, and I was in and out of quite a few lobbies. I had custom playlists selected and I had everything chosen except zone control and escort so I could try to get Clubhouse. But I ended up noticing something else entirely in the process. I keep seeing the same people. I would load into a lobby, see a group of people, leave because I didn't get Clubhouse, and then load into another lobby, see another group of people, rinse and repeat, and eventually, after a complete cycle of about 5 or 6 times waiting for a game, getting a game, and loading up and seeing who was in it, you start to see the same people. The sad thing is, I could probably make a list of about 100 to 200 players on the US East servers just based on last night. And now, sure, that's not everyone because probably not everyone's playing at that same time, but it's not looking good. And then on top of that, I was gonna check the new top 500 list that's supposed to be out today, but it hasn't come out yet. But I'd be willing to bet that when it does, and you can check this for yourself when it comes out later today, I'll still be on the top 500 list despite not really having touched ranked in the last week. No one is really playing this game, especially not ranked. There seems to be a dedicated player base and then a few new players trickling in here and there, but most of them you don't really see too long. But what might even be more shocking is the community challenge. About a month ago, we all noticed we weren't hitting the community challenge goals. There was a lot of concern about what was going on with the game behind the scenes and not being able to meet those challenges. Well, it's happening again. We randomly started completing them again because if you hadn't caught on by now, they lowered the requirements. But now we're still not meeting them even after they lowered it. With just under a day left to go, as of the time of making this video, we have about 614,000 out of 1 million ultimates complete. We barely scraped halfway, and if you estimate this, we're probably going to finish around 720,000 out of a million. A million may sound like a lot, but for a game that once had supposedly 10 million players, this should have been completed in a day's time back then. So let's take my contribution here for a moment of 145. I haven't been playing as much as I wanted to over the last week, and to be honest, using the Highwayman, the Ultra is kind of pointless. So even when I got it, I still wouldn't use it. But a couple days ago, I saw that we were in jeopardy of not meeting this community challenge, and I've been trying to use it more and more even if it doesn't do anything. So on average, players probably are getting about what I have right now at 145. So if you take 614,000, which is what we're at now, divide that by the 145, which is my contribution or the average player's contribution, that comes out to about 4,300. That means there are about 4,300 players, give or take, still playing this game on all platforms combined. Now, it's not an exact science, of course, but the last reports we heard was the game was struggling to maintain 20,000 players across all platforms. And now if you take into account all the players that are probably not good enough to get one Ultra per game or multiple, even if you doubled that number and padded the stats a little bit, that's only about 10,000 players. That's half of what we were struggling to maintain a couple months ago. I don't think any amount of surge is going to get this complete. So if it ends up being completed, my finger's being pointed at Ubisoft for fudging the numbers, but we're still a whole month away from season 3 right now. And the next month is going to be very, very dull. Even if we do get custom games, which for content creators is going to be great. But for the average players, for you guys, what does that even mean? Nothing. I'm not saying the game is dead in the water or that they need to do something immediately like tomorrow to fix this, because the groundwork is already laid out. we're getting everything they promised as of season 2, and season 3 is a month away. So we just have to suck it up and wait. The good news is after the double XP weekend ended, it seems like all the sweats just dropped off the face of the earth, and now I'm getting into lobbies where the average player level is like 50 or so. So I'd say now is a great time to get those guns maxed out if you haven't already, and you're still around on the game, because you and I both know all too well that eventually, at some point, there will be a skin that requires all weapons to be a certain level. But speaking of XP and weapon leveling, there should be a new patch coming on November 20th that will revert the XP changes that change the primary weapons from 1500 to 2000 XP and the secondaries from 500 to 1000 to level up each weapon. The change to make it higher actually got added back in one of the previous patches where they added the objective XP was counting towards your weapon leveling. Not to mention that November 20th should also be the day that we get custom matches, or so we hope. But anyway, this should also reduce the total amount of XP you need on your weapons from 998,000 down to 748,000. So my suggestion to you is keep an eye on your weapon XP in your loadout screen, and once you hit about 750,000, move on to another weapon and just hope and pray that we get the extra XP given back to us when they make the new update. Some bad news is likely this coming weekend will not be double XP weekend, but on the flip side, the following week, with the launch of the new map and custom games, should probably be double XP weekend. But I had a thought. If you're trying to bring players back to the game, make the community challenge worth it. Instead of giving us a battle pass token, which I have an absurd amount of, and instead of also even giving us a double XP token for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, how about make it, if we complete the community challenge, we get a double XP weekend? Or give us like an exclusive skin to reward the players who are still sticking by the game in this really down, slow period of no content. I would say give us X coins, but really that's not gonna entice me to play the game because the stuff in the store isn't even worth buying half the time. So X coins really don't mean anything to me. Plus, I still have X coins left over, and even after I buy the battle pass for season 3, I'll still have about 1,000 left anyway. So give us something worth playing for. Again, I really hate making these videos, and it's honestly not to try to rage bait anybody. It's just to give my honest opinion and view on where the game is today, with a little pinch of there's no other fucking content to make. What do you want me to do, people? But I do see the light at the end of the tunnel with season 3 and 4, and by year 2, this game should be, in my opinion, where it should have been at launch. Then we can all revisit and get it going again. Just my 2 cents on it, but let me know, does seeing the community challenges not being met concern you for this game's longevity? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.